So this type of case is like scary. This guy recently committed suicide, and it was before the federal authorities could basically convict him of a crime. So he is a former cop from Kansas City. It's all happening in Kansas City. They're in Kansas. And he, dating back to the 80s, is accused of crimes. So, first, this whole thing was discovered that he sexually assaulted vulnerable black women, and basically nobody ever told that he did this to them because nobody would believe them. So he specifically targeted women that nobody would believe, like someone on drugs or whatever. Nobody would believe that this upstanding cop would do all these horrible things to you. Like, oh my gosh. He's a police detective and he's retired. But anyhow, so going back all the way to the 1980s, he was doing that sort of thing. That's alleged. And then he was being sued in civil court because he and some others conspired to frame this black guy for a murder in the 1990s. I guess in I want to say the early 1990s, this man was convicted of a double murder. And then he, I think, spent 23 years in jail, like something crazy amount of time in jail. And they let him out in 2017 or something like that. So this guy was being profiled for that too, because he had something to do with framing somebody and keeping them in jail for all those years. Like, this guy is horrible. And all of this is coming to light now because now they found that the federal authorities did their own investigation and found out that not only was he attached to that one case where he framed some guy for murder, but that he has been picking up vulnerable black women and sexually assaulting them and basically intimidating them into not telling. Really scary that person is actually a cop, and they probably used the resources that they had as a cop to continue to do that for 40 years, right? So I guess the federal investigation started in the early 2020, 2022, kind of around that time, and they indicted him. And basically, before he was supposed to go to trial, he killed himself. He was in his 70s now. What do you think about this? Isn't it crazy that people like this still exist? That they're a criminal, a long-term criminal that's basically hiding in plain sight inside of the police force.